When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to Geico.com and you can save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike,
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your moves.
Blog Talk Radio.
Today we have Joy Simons-Brown. She is the Managing Director of Sounds of Joy Production Limited, an entertainment company dedicated to serving the corporate and private clients with live entertainment and managing music projects. She's a musician qualified by the Royal School of Music in London in classical piano and clarinet, and studied jazz piano and organ at the Edna Manley College in Jamaica. She's also a certified music entrepreneur and arranging specialist by the Berklee College Music in Boston. In addition to her musical skills, she has training in the musical production, having worked with Noel Dexter, Professor Bonds of the Duke Ellington Choir, and takes part in the national and international productions as composer, arranger, and performer. She's currently the director of two corporate performing groups in Jamaica, the Guardian Life Singers and Scottish Singers, both of them having done several productions and launched their albums. Joy is also a tutor of mathematics to the tertiary level, a writer, and an author of 5 books: The Introduction of Pension Schemes in Jamaica, The Joy of Knowing, Inspirational Reading, Mathematics for Life Workbooks, Book 1 and 2. As usual, my co-host is Chris Daly. He's a senior writer and blogger at Jamaicans.com. He's a contributing writer at Your Money E-Zine, and he's also the brain behind YourInternetEnergizer.com. Chris, take it away.
Thanks, Denise. And Ms. Brown, welcome to our conversation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Good to have you. First, let's learn a little more about you. Tell us a little about your Jamaican roots.
I was born in the country, and my mother was a teacher. And my father, a businessman with Nestle, an international company.
What parish is that?
I lived in St. Catherine in Bogwalk.
All right. That's neat.
Yes.
But from there, you've left there, and now you're a great musician and author. Tell us a little about your journey from high school to you being such a first-class musician, as we have some youngsters would just like to hear this type of inspiration.
Yeah, well, in my house, my parents were always emphasizing education. Mm-hmm. Education was a big thing. But then they were both musical. They used to sing in choirs and perform. So I went to music lessons very early. Now, at school, I did, up to university level, I did mathematics. I majored in mathematics. And even after university, I taught mathematics. And after that, I went into business and worked as a pension scheme administrator. But with all these jobs, I always wanted to do my music.
Okay.
So some years ago, 1998, I registered Sound of Joy Music Productions and took the plunge and started my business. But, artistic work is work involved in projects. And many people who would love to pursue the arts are a bit tentative because, the income is not consistent. So in addition to my projects, I decided to further my studies. So I studied with Berkeley and did music entrepreneurship and qualified as an arranging specialist. Now, when you do studies with Berkeley, they encourage you to be able to not only be a musician but to manage your business. So we had to study music entrepreneurs over the world, like Berry Gordy and Chris Blackwell and so on, and see how they actually ran it as a business. So what that does is that it makes you able to develop products for the company, and so that you can be earning your passive income while you are doing your projects. So it provides a rounded kind of thing. So with technology nowadays, people can have a full-time job. They can be interested in the arts, and they have the software to produce musical scores, do their recordings, even at home.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. So you can have your passion being pursued while you do your other jobs at the same time, so you can have multiple streams of income. Really, it's a great model going forward that we need to imagine. One of the things that I just want to take you back, as you said, you had a family that was where education was a great value, and you developed your skill as a mathematician.
Yes.
Where would you say the nexus between being a mathematician and music occur? People said music allows you to develop both sides of your brain. How would you see those two disciplines were involved in your becoming such a leader in two fields?
Well, mathematics was a big deal in my house because my father was a financial controller, so he was always with figures and so on. So math, he just made it look easy. Everything looked easy. But what the similarity is that both of them, math and music, have rules and patterns. They are based on rules and patterns.
Okay.
And also they develop the ability to stick, to be disciplined and to practice. Because in music, if you don't practice, you don't get anywhere. And in math, it's the same thing. So what you find is that because you are involved in creativity and problem solving, it not only gives you skills to cope with math and cope with music, but life in general. Because that's what life is about, coping with the challenges that you have, and you can work through it steadily. So when I tutor math, in my years of tutoring math, I find that the students who do music are able to stick to the mathematics. And the students who do mathematics are able to stay with the discipline of music.
It's a great observation.
Yeah.
It said you're not only a mathematician, you're also an author who has authored several books. And your latest book, Sing and Play the Jamaican Way, is a book CD compilation that's lots of Jamaican folk songs. From reading your website, it seemed like folk songs are making a comeback. What do you attribute this to?
Well, folk songs have always been around, but there has been renewed interest in folk songs because Jamaicans have been able to do a lot more creative work with folk songs. So a person coming to Jamaica now will hear many more folk songs than they did, say, 30 years ago.
Oh.
The problem we have, though, is that the folk songs are not being documented. So, for instance, we have a lot of shows. 2 weeks ago, I went to NDTC performance, and we heard one set of folk songs. And this weekend, Jamaica Folk Singers opens up its season. Then we have, like, Carib Folk Singers. So there's a lot of folk singing, but it's not written anywhere. So somebody in New Zealand, for instance, wouldn't know about those folk songs. And they are fun, and they describe Jamaican life. So I think it's because it's not documented. Why people
is
don't
it
know
from
about
the same genre of the traditional folk songs, or people are taking that and taking it in your direction?
No, it's really the same old the same rhythms and the same feel and country life and so on. It's the same thing.
Oh, that's neat. Another thing is that Jamaicans have produced ska and reggae and dancehall that has had global impact. Where do you think Jamaicans get this ability to be so creative in music, in the music genre?
Well, I think Jamaicans are just passionate with whatever they do, because it's not only in the music field. I mean, they are doing well in other areas, and they are just very passionate about what they do, and they tend to come up with new stuff. Jamaicans love to do their own stuff. So although they copy music from around the world, Jamaicans, we have a real extensive library of Jamaicans' own thing. It's a special quality they have to get original stuff out.
That's pretty neat. You mentioned that your parents were pretty influential as far as both in your math and your music development. Were there other influences outside of your family that helped mentor these skills in you?
Well, the exposure very early. By my parents, we used to go to shows, and I used to see stage productions from very early. So that was sort of there in my mind. But my training, I had one Miss Joyce Ashburn who trained me in piano, and we did the Royal School of Music London exams. And then I was really impressed with the work of Noel Dexter, who has done a lot of folk, and he is the director of the original director of the University Singers in Jamaica. Okay. Professor Bonds of the Duke Ellington Choir, when they came to Jamaica and did workshops, I said, okay, this is me.
Okay.
And then when I studied jazz piano with Maurice Gordon, because when you study classical music, classical piano, you learn one side of piano. That's music that comes from outside of you. You read it to know it. And when you study jazz, the music comes from inside. So it is a new place.
Okay.
Yes.
It's your own internal creativity that's being expressed as opposed to playing some of the Bach and Mozart and the like.
Mozart and yes.
Well, back to our traditional music as Jamaican phone songs. Now that we have as many Jamaicans living inside of the island as they are on the island, how can the diaspora continue to have influence with the folk song within their family tree?
Well, I think it goes on to documentation, because if the songs are recorded or the songs are written, then they can be passed around in the diaspora. For instance, I released that book and album in November, and I'm told of a family in Luxembourg that entertains with it on Jamaica nights. And the people, the Jamaican community in Amsterdam, when they meet together, instead of singing folk Christmas carols around the furnace, they are singing Jamaican folk songs, and the children who play violin or flute or so are able to play along, because the CD has the backup music to play along with the CD.
Oh, okay.
Right,
are the musical scores also available?
Yes, the book has musical scores.
Okay.
The book has the musical scores, and it has backup CD onto the book. For those who can't play, then there is a sing-along CD where we have the piano playing the actual tune and a sing-along booklet.
Okay, all right.
Right.
So, are there any other elements to the content of the book that you'd like to share?
Well, I decided to choose the 30, what I thought were the 30 best loved folk songs.
Okay.
Because when we were like at craft fairs and so, everybody said, I hope you have such and such on it, and it was on it.
Okay.
Songs like Evening Time and Yellow Bird and Deo and so on, the real original folk songs that are favorites of people, of Jamaicans all over the world.
Wow, this is neat. So how would people get a copy of your fine work?
Well, in Jamaica, they are at gift shops. All the gift shops have them, and all the shops at the airport, and it's in Things Jamaican shops here. Online, they can get it at Amazon.com. It's on Amazon.
Oh, wonderful. You can get it at Amazon.com. And do you like to repeat the titles of the ones that you have?
Yes, it's called Sing and Play the Jamaican Way. And if you put that title in, you'll get both the book and CD displayed on the same page.
Okay. How about the other works? Are they also on Amazon? Or?
Which other works? You mean that I have done?
Yes.
Well, Mathematics for Life is there. Mathematics, I wrote a workbook, but it's really for the Jamaican grade 11 students.
Okay.
Right, but that's also on Amazon. But the other books are available in Jamaica. The other
if they look up, they can search by Joy Simpsons Brown.
Simon
Brown.
Simons.
Okay.
Simon.
On Amazon, and
yes.
they can get access to this fine genre of work that you have.
Right.
We know these are challenging times in Jamaica. Are there any inspirational words from the songs that you have that will help give people a peace and encouragement that you'd like to share?
Well, those songs are really just the traditional songs like, Moonshine Tonight and Emmanuel Road and so on.
Okay.
But I would say that Jamaicans possess a kind of consciousness that is that collectively is able to excel internationally through the people and the product. And I think that same consciousness that produces this fine music and the athletes and, fine businessmen, I think that same consciousness can work through the challenges that we have now. I would say to the people in the diaspora that just be proud of your Jamaicanness and support your homeland in the journey to become the next world power.
That's wonderful, wonderful advice. And Ms. Brown, just want to thank you so much for taking the time to be such an inspiration, both in the mathematics and now in the music genre, and to putting together such a tool that is documented and we, wherever we are, can have access to it. Continued success to you, and we look forward to further work from you in the near future.
Well, thank you for having me on your show. And I have my contact information there. So.
Okay, you'd like to repeat that, maybe your website?
Yes, my website is on the World Wide Web, www.soundofjoyonline.com.
Okay, enjoy. Yeah, enjoy. And Chris, if you would like to learn more about Chris, you can visit Jamaicans.com, and his blog is Me Thinking Are You. You can also go on JamaicanDiaspora.com, and if you click Caribbean Cultural Store, you can find Joy's works on that particular store. And as usual, SoundsOfJoyOnline.com. Sound of Joy.
Yes, a type of sound, not a number of sounds.
Yeah, that's Joy Online. Okay, and you can also hear this, you can go to Jamaican Diaspora Radio and to watch Jamaican Diaspora TV. Both are available on iTunes. Joy, it's been a pleasure having you spend some time with us.
Okay, thank you very much, and I hope we'll be in touch again.
Okay.
Yes, okay. Bye.
By the foot, there's no better ride than an old station wagon. Room for 6 people facing forward, 2 people facing backward, and a whole lot of luggage, lumber, and bicycles haphazardly strapped to the roof. If you can parallel park that beast, you can park anything. And with some quality parts and a little Napa know-how, you can keep your land ship running longer, stronger. It's not obsolete. It's a rare treasure. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
Boar's Head invites you to enlighten your senses. Introducing Boar's Head Ichiban Teriyaki-style chicken. Inspired by Japanese master chefs, our signature teriyaki glaze is crafted with garlic, ginger, and a hint of brown sugar, then paired with our tender, slow-roasted chicken breast for a flavor that's sweet, savory, remarkably bold. Boar's Head Ichiban Teriyaki-style chicken, the bold flavor of Japan, now at the deli. Compromise elsewhere.